All right, let's start with the big story that we're tracking on WION this morning, where the Syrian state media has reported that Israeli warplanes violated their airspace and fired missiles targeting Syrian military targets in Homs and in Damascus. Now, according to reports, at least about 4 Syrian civilians were killed in the attack and at least 21 others injured in these airstrikes. A Syrian state-run broadcaster has said that 4 civilians, including a child, had been killed in Sahnaya, south of Damascus. It's also being reported that the Syrian air defense had brought down a number of missiles. An Israeli military spokeswoman, when asked about the report, said, "We don't comment on such reports." At the same time, it's interesting to note that Israel has not denied this military airstrike. Now, Syria, of course, continues to be wrecked by violence as the Assad regime forces continue to pound the last rebel-held area of Idlib. All right, let's now shift our attention to Hong Kong, where the protesters are rallying on the 22nd anniversary of the city's handover from Britain to China. They are rallying outside of the venue, hosting the ceremony marking the anniversary, and there are reports of the police having to resort to using pepper spray and also to a bait-and charge to disperse the protesters. And remember, Hong Kong was officially handed over from Great Britain to China in the year 1997 on this date. This is not the first time that pro-democracy protesters have targeted this ceremony. In the year 2017, during a visit by the Chinese President Xi Jinping to the city, activist Joshua Wong and other protesters had occupied this ceremony venue. And despite the protests, the flag-raising ceremony was conducted pretty smoothly. Embattled Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam also appeared in public for the first time in well over 10 days to officiate at a flag-raising ceremony. Now, Carrie Lam raised a toast after the annual ceremony with high-ranking officials as the protesters gathered outside of the Hong Kong's convention centre.
不過，近月發生嘅事，令市民同埋政府之間產生矛盾同埋紛爭，亦都令我徹底明白，作為從政者，不時都要警醒自己，要準確掌握民情。我亦深切體會到，縱使有良好意願，亦都必須要開放包容。縱使政府需重視行政效率，亦都必須耐心聆聽。
Now, let's take a look at what the handover ceremony was all about. Now, after the Opium War of the 1800s, the British had seized control of the Hong Kong island and also its neighbouring peninsula. They later also captured another area and named it as New Territories. Now, the British Empire decided to govern it under a 99-year lease, and the lease was set to end in the year 1997. Now, Britain and China began negotiations for a handover for all the 3 regions in the year 1982. They decided that Hong Kong would be governed as a special administrative region for the next 50 years. It would enjoy a certain autonomy similar to what it had under British rule. It would be governed under the principle of one country, 2 systems. And this autonomy is all set to come to an end by the year 2047, after which Hong Kong will become a complete part of Chinese territory administered by Chinese law. So on the 30th of June in the year 1997, the British flag was lowered for the last time in Hong Kong just before midnight. The Chinese and also the Special Administrative Region flag was raised instead, and Hong Kong had come back to its motherland after 156 years of having been under British rule. And these are live scenes from what is playing out in Hong Kong on the 22nd anniversary of Hong Kong having been ceded back to China to be governed by China under the one country, two systems rule. So it appears that the protesters are again trying to break the barricades and cross over onto the other side, while the police there stationed to try maintain order are trying to restrict the protesters from crossing over a certain point. All right, we'll be getting you the details as they emerge in Hong Kong, but for the time being, let's now shift our attention to the United States, where at least about 10 people are feared to be dead in Addison in Texas. This after a plane crashed into a hangar at the Addison airport. Now, the incident took place when the twin-engine Beechcraft was taking off. And according to reports, the plane caught fire, killing all on board. Now, no one was inside the hangar at the time of the incident. An investigation into the matter is underway.